Hello and welcome to MotorCult episode 25. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sidnitsky. Hello.
Hello, I am here.
And we have a guest.
Yes, we
Tucker.
Hello.
You're finally here.
Indeed.
First off, thank you for being a Patreon patron.
Yeah,
And secondly, thanks for showing up.
do. Yeah.
So Tucker, you've brought us some delicious beer, and it's something I get a lot more often now that I live on the east side of the cities because Wisconsin's much closer. Sorry, that was me. Wisconsin's, that was my text tone. I have no idea. Oh, that was our guest that was supposed to be here first. Matt Durer's texting me saying that, son of a bitch, I forgot, and it was on my calendar and everything. Anyway, we've got Spotted Cow.
Yes.
And for those that don't know, New Glarus Brewing out of, what is it?
New Glarus, Wisconsin.
Yeah, just south of Madison, right?
I don't know. It's the other
I'm
side
pretty
of
sure it's just south of
Wisconsin
Madison.
It's a brewing co-op, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
And they have a cow on the can.
yes, and it is spotted.
It is a
for
spotted
me. That
cow.
would be a Holstein cow.
And
Yes, it is a Holstein cow.
that's a hell of a heifer.
That's the sort of thing that you only know if you're from Wisconsin.
Indeed. Well, and it doesn't help that I was in FFA for 3 years during high school, too. So I'm
Or
FFA.
it does help.
FFA, Future Farmers of America, but now it's got some fancy politically correct title.
Oh. Is
How's
that like born
how's
again
that
Christians?
How's that not politically correct? It's a farmer. What's
I-
not politically correct about
It's
farmer?
something about bringing in agriculture, science, this, that, the other thing. You know, trying to get away from, farmers are just people driving tractors and planting corn.
They
So-
are.
I know.
What
but
about that
there's-
subsidized race fuel known as E85?
Yeah, I don't deal with
I got an
E85.
idea.
Carburetors and E85 don't. Sorry.
Actually,
Oh, Tucker.
Tucker, you already. You're not even 5 minutes in, and you already ruined the podcast.
I know, I'm terrible. I'll just go home now.
Just leave the beer.
E85 works on carburetors. You just have to have carburetors that are made for E85.
Yeah.
It works fine, actually.
Yeah.
It actually works very well.
But the Weber 3236 that's on my Mazda pickup,
They do make Weber E85 carburetor kits.
I don't know as if they make one that's small for the 2 liter.
Yes,
for
they
the
do.
2.2 liter.
Yeah, they do.
It's out of my budget because I'm poverty. So
That's fair.
It's all right. Anyway, I'm opening this up because I've been dying to get this. For those of you who are not from Minnesota, you should know in Minnesota, New Glarus is a delicacy in the beer world. So let's open up this delicacy.
excellent pop.
Very fine.
Fantastic.
That's what she said. Woo!
Oh, it's so delicious.
That's great. Oh, man. I don't even know how to describe this beer. It's like when I first started drinking beer, I was drinking just garbage, basically. I started off, I found Blue Moon was like the most commonly available thing I could drink.
It's a cream ale, isn't it?
This, I have no idea.
Yeah, it
but
is.
this is just like you take a Blue Moon and you just make it good.
No, it's a. I'm pretty sure it's technically a cream ale.
Yeah, they call it a farmhouse ale, whatever.
Oh, okay. So, it is a farmhouse. Well, no, they make a separate farmhouse, don't they?
No,
Because a
this-
farmhouse is a version of it's a variant.
Is
of
it a
Saison.
future farmhouse of America?
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Anyway, we should go to the question. Did you? Is my gain still cranked up for?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, you sound fine.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of echoey to me, but whatever.
Oh.
It might just be me.
Everything looks okay, so I hope it's fine.
Maybe I just have reverb in my head.
Maybe it's the lack of food just depleting the,
I think that's
the
what
fat
it is.
deposits
Yeah,
in your eardrums.
I think that's what
and
it
it's
is.
echoing because it's so empty.
Anyway, we should get to the guest questions.
Well,
for
Tucker, you actually listen to our podcast, even though if you're way behind on episodes right now, but you're at least aware of the typical questions that we
Yes,
ask.
yes, I
so
am.
we've revised them just a little bit, but we still have the basic ones. So let's start off with what do you drive?
I have a 1992 Mazda B2200 pickup.
Oh, yeah.
2.2 liter 4-cylinder, 5-speed manual, rear-wheel drive. It is a rare combination because it's a standard cab long box.
It's a dope truck.
It's a Japanese mini truck with a 7.5-foot box.
I think probably the rarest aspect of your truck is the fact that it's a Midwest vehicle that's not made of rust.
Well, the body isn't made of rust.
The frame's a
frame
different
was.
thing. It's
Yeah.
all right. But you
But
fixed it.
I have
It's
because I
been
paid
patched
$700 for it, but it was kind of one of those deals where it was my only vehicle and I had to make it work, so I had to fix it. And it's a cool enough truck to justify putting the money into. It's not like it's a
The body's
It's a
in pretty
dope
nice
truck.
shape,
It's
yeah.
a really cool truck.
It's not like it's a '97 Ranger with a 2.3. It's like
That's a horrible vehicle. It should never.
No,
have
the
a penny
2.3s
put
are
into it.
okay. The 4 liters and the 3 liters, those are
No,
terrible.
just the Ranger as a whole.
Yeah, I would never buy a Ranger.
I get it was made in Minnesota. It's not enough to make it
No.
cool to me.
No. We're not that nepotistic.
The first couple of generations where it was still where it was a mini truck, like after they stopped making it based off the Highboy,
When it
Those
stopped
are
being
kinda
boxy,
cool.
it stopped being cool.
Exactly. I think that's it. Everything prior to the 90s was cool for Rangers.
And I believe the specification or the clarification needs to be made that my Mazda is not one of the rebadged Rangers.
No.
It is actually a Mazda.
It is a strictly Mazda built in Hiroshima Prefecture in Hiroshima, Japan, imported, cross on the boat. It's a true Japanese mini truck.
It is, yeah, and it's actually well, your truck is kind of the last. I think one of the last Mazda pickup in the legacy of pickups that were originally captive imported by Ford as a mini truck before Ford made their own mini truck.
Yep. And actually, for a little while there, the Ranger and the Courier, which was the rebadged Mazda,
Exactly.
were side by side, but it wasn't long.
And everybody that bought the Ranger was a fool.
Yeah, indeed. The Mazda.
The Courier is so much cooler and so much better in every way.
I kind of like the off-brand rebadge stuff. Like when the Isuzu Ascender came out with the Trailblazer, I'm like, I would totally buy an Ascender.
or the Chevy Love versus the Isuzu Pop.
Man.
Actually, speaking of mini trucks, when we get to the segment that we have later, you're gonna be very excited by my pick of car.
Oh,
God.
lovely.
Yes. Anyway,
I'm a little terrified. This is going to be a heavily American car episode for all of you listening. Just so
well,
you know.
we've had surprisingly number of people. Well, I don't think it was a number. I think
A
it's just,
surprisingly number of people?
a surprisingly large number. I was
There
gonna
we
say
go.
large, and I'm like, well, it's not really large. It's just a surprising number.
A surprisingly Tucker-sized amount of folks?
I think it's really just Dan Balto being really loud, saying that we need more American car coverage. So here
Well,
it is.
we are definitely... Here's to you, Balto.
Yeah,
Raises
exactly.
beer.
Oh, dear.
Yay.
Okay.
American cars. Anyway,
So that's a pretty rad truck. I like the fact that it's a manual and it's rear-wheel drive.
exactly. It's everything you love.
3 pedals, 2-wheel drive. The only way to have it.
And it's
Exactly.
practical, so it really checks all my boxes.
So, I guess I know the answer to this question, but we have to preface your ability to be on this podcast with the question: slow car fast or fast car slow?
See, now I've run this past Eric earlier, and my answer was rejected.
You said fast car slow?
No.
I think you said slow car slow?
No, I prefer things at a medium pace.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely would have rejected that answer. It's a cop-out.
I mean, when
I know it's not for anybody else. It would be a cop out, but if you know Tucker, it makes sense.
No.
Well,
I reject that
When-
answer.
No, it's a stupid response that should not be allowed. But knowing Tucker, I mean, this is a one person on Earth that legitimately likes the W body as a vehicle.
Oh,
Not just like wow,
weird.
this is
Look.
good value for money, but like actually is like
W
this is
body.
a good car. Like you're the only person on Earth that actually believes that, and you're also the person that like all the Malays land yachts were made for. So, so I guess it's a reasonable answer.
I mean, when I had before I took ownership of the Mazda pickup, I did have a 2013 Hyundai Veloster base
It's
model.
fine. I liked it.
Base model, 138 horsepower, 6-speed manual.
I was going to say it was a manual. It wasn't that stupid.
Yeah,
Ugh,
no,
double
dual
clutch.
No, the dual clutch in those was lethargic and terrible.
No way.
Um,
I'm shocked that an economy
My
Hyundai based on
My first time driving a
Elantra
dual
would have a bad
clutch.
dual clutch.
My first time driving a dual clutch Veloster, when like not long after they came out, I was convinced that it was a full automatic. I did not think it was a
That
dual
would be
clutch.
high praise, actually.
I just thought it was a lazy like Sonata automatic. It's just terrible.
No, when I had the Veloster, yes, I subscribed fully to the slow car fast philosophy because that car
It was slow.
It was slow, but it was chuckable. You could huck it into a corner at 70 miles an hour, and you could come out alive on the other side. and
Right.
There was a great adrenaline rush with it.
Yeah, because it's a momentum car.
Exactly.
Because it's a slow car fast.
Exactly. But with the Mazda, things are different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much body roll from the torsion bars in the front. I mean, it's just you just have to take things. It's the mini truck philosophy, the low and slow.
Mm-hmm.
I coming out here, even coming down the 70 mile an hour stretch of 94.
Yeah.
I never cracked 65 on the way here, just because one, the motor doesn't like it, and two, it's just you get it up to 70, 75.
But
and it's just
isn't it at that point slow car fast? Because you're driving a slow car faster, it's intended to be driven. If you're at the peak of your engine's power, it's like Miguel with his 2.2 liter S15 Gypsy.
Oh dear, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
85 miles an hour.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's definitely slow car fast, relatively
Okay.
fast.
Yes, I will. I will concede. Slow car fast.
Perfect.
There we
That
are.
is the correct
That is
answer.
the correct answer. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
My electric Fiat, it has cruise control, but the kind of cruise control I use typically it doesn't involve any buttons. It just involves mashing the pedal down until
You just
it
get
hits
lazy.
the speed limiter.
You just let the weight of your foot push it on the ground.
That's a
yeah.
brick cruise control. Like
Yep.
I just like doing 89 a lot of the time.
It's-
everywhere.
Yeah.
All the time.
It's like driving a governed semi.
Yeah.
You lean it on the floor,
Yep.
and then you get tired or whatever. You move your foot at all. The speed change wakes you up, and you go, "Oh, hey, I need to be driving."
I mean, I've never done that, but
I have.
Oh,
Well,
okay, cool.
you are Tucker the trucker, so
Of course.
formerly known as Tucker the Trucker.
Formerly known
yes,
as, yes.
former trucker. All right, so I guess our next question. I've
Yes.
done the last few, but this one is your turn.
Yes. All right, Tucker. Mondial dilemma. I'm not even going to preface it because you know.
I know, and I believe you know my answer.
Is it manual?
It is.
Is it
It has to be.
transverse?
Yes.
Do you have to cut anything?
That I'm not sure because I'm not sure what space limitations I'm dealing
Well,
with.
we'll
Then
critique your answer.
What kind of what would you be doing then?
LS4 with, I believe it's the G60 6-speed manual out of the Pontiac G6 GTP.
It's a G284, I think. It's actually in this list here.
So that would actually fit. So you're the second person to say LS.
But not LS4. You need to use a non-front-wheel
is
drive
that- is
LS.
that the,
You got to
um,
use an LS1 or
Well,
two.
the
or something.
the LS4 was the front wheel drive
Yeah,
LS.
but the bolt pattern's completely different. It doesn't fit the transaxle.
Okay, then I'll drop the transax and go to the
284.
Muncie 4-speed out of the Pontiac Fiero GT.
that does work.
Yeah, that would
actually.
work.
That would work. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, granted, you lose 2 gears, but who
Who
cares?
cares,
It's an
yeah.
LS motor.
No, I mean, I'm saying you can use the modern transaxle with like another LS. You just can't use it with an LS4 because the LS4 has a
you're-
unique bell housing bolt pattern that fits the auto.
You're also going to be, having to.
So, I mean,
make
you can use
custom
the
mounts,
Muncie,
so it
that's
doesn't much
fine.
matter.
Yeah. Well,
But-
and then with the other problem with using the LS4 is you run into that displacement on demand where the lifters like to collapse and eat the cam, and
I know it's going to surprise you, but you can totally get rid of that really easily.
you can, but you got to open the motor up. And at that point, if you're putting the motor in the Mondial, who cares? So, long LS with,
Could you put that
LS manual.
Could
Okay,
you use
sounds
the
good.
Muncie 4-speed from the Fiero with a normal small black Chevy?
I believe some do, yes.
I would say you probably
Because
could.
I know I have seen a Fiero with a Cadillac 500 in it, but I wasn't sure if they use a Muncie
God.
4-speed or if they just,
Well, when you swap between old GM when the brands had completely different engine infrastructures, I mean, I'm sure you can do it with an adapter, but
yeah, because
No,
he had a Cadillac. I wasn't sure if he did the Muncie 4-speed. He also might have done like one of the weird front-wheel drive longitudinal transmissions they had,
oh yeah.
and just like cut up everything behind the seat.
I'm guessing a 500 cube Cadillac motor and a Fiero needed some cutting.
Yeah.
Shocking, I know, right?
Just saying.
So you do an LS. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a boring answer, but we'll accept
That's
it.
it's a stupid answer. I will accept it, but we'll make fun of it. Ha 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 ha.
Well, we're almost done with the standard questions, but we got a couple more. What are your favorite events or car shows locally during the year?
Does it have to be a car event or can it be motorsports?
Motorsport's fine.
That's
as long as
a
it's
car
car
event.
related, yeah.
Motorsports, I am actually a member of Central Road Racing Association in Minnesota.
Yep.
We race sport bikes up on the BIR road courses.
Short or
Both.
long or both?
Both.
Ooh,
We run
It'd be terrifying on the long course.
we run long in May and September.
Okay.
Because bracket drags aren't up there.
Right.
And then every month, all the months in between, we run the same weekends as the brackets, so we're on the I wanted to say short and comp at the same time. We're on the comp course.
Okay.
Okay. So that's your favorite. thing to
yeah,
do is
Comp course
track,
is better.
Track days
for
at
sure.
BIR.
Yeah, basically.
That's
my
totally
my
fair.
CRA family, they are second to none. They're excellent people. I love them.
You're the first one to actually mention like a track event as their favorite, so that's refreshing.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer.
And we got
Perfectly
one more,
fine.
but it kind of fits into the next thing we're going to talk about. So I'll let Ryan take over, and we'll talk about the two current huge events that are happening in the Twin Cities this weekend.
Yes. All right. Well, this one's actually kind of specially tailored to you. It's not really a normal thing, but I kind of want to.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think we should contrast the crowd you see at Back to the 50s and the crowd you see at Pride, because both those pertain to you. As you were going to be our second Pride guest, but then
It's still applicable. It's close enough.
it's happening right now as we speak.
Yeah,
so.
I'd say it's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
I see the rainbow dog tag, so I mean, you're clearly
I
ready
will
for
say
this.
you see Harley Davidsons of both of them.
Oh man.
Yes. Harley Davidson.
That's true. We could treat this like a Venn diagram. What are the
The
similarities?
similarities and the differences.
There's a large number of Harley Davidsons and almost inappropriate leather gear at both of them. And
Yes,
it's-
there's both.
The leather gear, I feel like slightly different in how it's.
It
outwardly
is,
apparent,
but there's still way too much of it.
Yeah.
Both of them have a lot of mustaches.
Oh man.
Oh dear. We're actually doing this.
And then
yeah.
I will say something you see at Back to the 50s, but not at Pride, are those American
Trump
flags.
hats?
No, yes, that
Oh.
too. The American flags are all black and white with the one blue line.
Oh.
Those. Yeah, you see those at Back to the 50s, not
I feel like
at
those are
Pride.
really disrespectful.
And they kind of are, yeah. Then not. It's usually people that run it.
Anything that it's technically like defacing a federal monument.
Well, no,
so-
that's more saying like we support our.
No, I understand. Like,
officers,
it's
but
it has a good
it's-
message behind it, but I think doing
it's
that
one
to an
of those
American
things where
flag
you,
is bad.
usually the people that run them are
Yeah.
the same people also run Confederate flags. So
Tennessee battle flags.
Yeah, douchebags. Not everybody has one. It's just there's a large
No,
overlap.
but we're good at sweeping
Yeah.
generalizations.
Yes, we
so
are.
I may as well stick with
And
it.
then there is one thing that you see at Pride that you do not see at Back to the 50s, and that are
Condoms.
ass mad religious people from Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh my.
Yeah, I feel like those are fewer up here. I mean, Minnesota is a little bit more of a progressive state.
Thank
Or
goodness.
at least we
me?
pretend to be.
I always change my Facebook picture around this time of year to the picture of me in front of the guy saying Jesus died for your sins, and like always like the most poorly designed like religious fervor like picketing sign I've ever seen. He's always there at Pride. He's always not talking to anybody. I took a picture of him with him, and he was doing absolutely nothing, and I'm like sitting there going like, yeah, heavy metal.
Is it like one of those Queen's guards in the UK or whatever?
Kind
where
of, yeah.
their-
He's kind of like that.
Their
but-
job is to do nothing.
Yeah, he's like the Queen's Guard of douchebaggery, and now I took a picture with some of my trans friends, and it was pretty funny. The
know-
guy was not about it.
I wonder if
He's 100% not
I
about
like
it.
that reaction. He was really not about it, so I went ahead and did it.
I wonder if I tucked the dog tags into my shirt
Yeah.
and just walked up, especially in this particular shirt.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if I would be able to strike up a conversation with
You
him.
probably could, because you don't look.
And then you pull the
don't-
dog
You
tags
do not
out.
look like a member of the LGBT community.
No,
in
not
the
at all.
Slightest.
Except for that one screenshot from the Grinder profile
Yes,
picture.
his Grinder profile picture.
Lemon Drop.
Lemon Drop 22.
Although
Sorry,
now Lemon Drop 23.
23 as of
23.
yesterday.
Lemon Drop. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Lemon Drop 23. Yeah. So, what do you haven't been to Back to the 50s? I mean, like, what are some other things that you only see at Pride?
You know,
A
funny,
lot of near nudity.
funny enough, I've never
Yeah.
actually been to Pride either.
God, you
I
have,
haven't
a
either.
busy weekend in front of you.
I do.
Are you going?
to Pride? Yes.
Okay. Of
course he
Yeah,
is.
when we're done here.
It's
I
free.
figured you were.
If Matt
but-
shows up, I'll play Peanut Gallery for that. But
Well,
but yeah,
otherwise-
once
see.
we're done here, I'm gonna head to Pride, and then I've
Fair
got
enough.
another city another party in the city to go to tonight.
there you go.
Sounds like a decent old time.
Then you're having your bonfire too, according
Yeah.
to Scott.
Oh.
So I guess we're doing
Having a
that.
fire over at the house tonight? or-
Yeah, 8:45.
Okay.
Because after this, I'm going to replace the entire rear subframe on Corey's car.
Oh.
Everyone is invited. Joke is, it's happening. This is posting day after it happens.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
I see what you
everybody's
did now.
invited to the bonfire that happened
It
yesterday.
is an open event. Piss jokes can't come, but anyone else is welcome, certainly.
But no, I've never actually been to Pride, the festival itself. There's the stereotypes you could see, you see on the internet that you could comment on, but it's hard to say because
You're gonna have a very fun time. I love going to Pride every year. It's
I got to interrupt for a second. This is
Yes.
completely off topic. Neither of your microphones are pointing at your faces, I just realized. It should be like totally in line with the stand. No, you're good. Hold on.
1 second. Yeah.
So that one's good now.
Oh God, this is horrible. I'm
right.
so sorry, listeners.
It sounded fine, but that
You
was
might,
bugging me.
It
so.
might be worth doing like 5 seconds of editing just to get that last
that.
like
No.
20 seconds
Screw
out.
our listeners.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
All right, please continue.
We love
Sorry
you.
for interrupting.
We love you, but
It's
go ahead.
It was just
no,
bothering me. I noticed that, and I'm just like, I can't not say anything.
No, Pride. Or you're gonna love Pride. It's really cool because it's like a lot of the stereotypes you hear about that like don't actually happen in the real world. You will see. It will be great.
Oh, yeah.
You will see very large, burly men with thick body hair and mustaches
THICC?
walking around with a lot of leather on. It'll be all your thing. You'll be about it.
You say that, but that's actually not my bag.
Oh yeah, no, you're into tiny little Asian guys. Yeah.
Well,
And on that note,
So
on that note, any
on-
sponsors that may have been thinking about the show, or they have run for the hills.
So actually, I'm
no,
gonna try to make it to Pride this year, but if I do go, it'll be tomorrow for the parade. But if I
Yeah.
go tomorrow, it'll be really fun because I have my dad with me because he just blew up his car, and I'm gonna be like chauffeuring around everywhere tomorrow.
Chauffeuring.
Chauffeuring.
See, I unfortunately, as much as I'd love to, I can't actually make it to the parade tomorrow. Because,
no.
No, well,
The parade's half the fun.
because O'Reilly Auto Parts owns my soul,
Oh,
so I have to
see.
work tomorrow.
they'll
Okay,
own
that's fair.
103 of my dollars when I buy that 5-gallon jug of ATF to fill my lifts. Oh, listeners, I have 2 new lifts here in the Motorplex garage. A new 4-post storage lift, which is assembled but has no fluid in it, and a 2-post that is not assembled and has no fluid in it.
There
Very
you go.
exciting. So
Yay.
that's my, okay.
But no, like I mentioned before. Well, Bert, you know this, but yeah, my dad blew up his G35.
I do, yeah.
Yep.
VQ35 with chain issues. It's really weird. I've
Yeah,
never heard of
weird.
that
It's
before.
like timing chains suck. They're like
Topical.
they
Actually,
yeah.
it is topical.
It is
'cause my
topical.
next thing is actually kind of relating to that.
Oh, it is. That was actually
That was a genuine accident. He was not attempting to
yeah,
segue.
I was not attempting to segue at all. No, so yeah.
Well done, sir.
My dad's G35 blew up its timing chain.
Aw.
Dropped a valve on the passenger side.
So just pull a plug in an injector and fucking let her rip, Tater Chip.
I don't know about that. I think I'm just gonna give him a 325 IX.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that'll
I'm
be.
sorry.
No, it's Burger's. It was gonna be Unicorn version 4,
5.0.
5.0. But he didn't turbo it yet, so I just bought it for.
Well, you haven't yet.
But you're torturing him with
I
all-wheel
will
drive.
Be buying it, yes.
Okay.
Either tomorrow or Monday. I'll give you a call about me and my dad coming by to
Dave
drive
has
it.
the title. We can talk about this later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off the podcast.
All right. That's a nice car. I hate it.
It's all right because it's all-wheel drive, right?
No, it's because I put an engine in it, and when I bought it, the guy signed the wrong part of the title, and then he moved to New Hampshire.
But we have the title sorted
Yeah,
out, so we don't need
yeah.
to worry about that.
No, that's
It's just
why I hate
that
it.
that made the
I had to
it put-
immediately park a car I fixed for months. That was why. And it's an IX. I hate IXs.
Yes, I know you do.
The
And
cars
the
I
thing is-
deliberately mercy kill.
Well, that's the thing is, for my father, like that's a great car for him because he has to drive basically across town every day from Richfield to Egan.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it's a terrible drive.
Yeah.
And then in winter, it really sucks if you don't have all-wheel drive.
No, it sucks if you don't have snow tires.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. But
or just sucks if you don't know how to drive, because I got around in my light little mini
well,
truck
it's
on
it's
all
it's a,
seasons.
it's a kind of a shit drive.
that's
I was thinking more because you're stopping and going all the time, and then if you have to stop on that section of 494 that goes uphill,
Yeah.
if you don't have the best tires, you will be taking the rest of that road at a 45-degree angle.
Oh, it's
So,
fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
I
word
mean,
fun.
IXs are fine when they have turbos on them.
So
They're really
I
boring
think
it.
I just think he's be about it. I think he's really gonna like it because I mean when you're comparing
That's
even
fine. And
even
when it
an
crashes,
IX,
it'll just buy it back for parts value. It'll be fine.
I think for even an IX would drive better than a G35.
Yeah, probably.
I think he's gonna get like a net gain in
Yeah, I think the main
driving
thing
quality.
that bothers me about IXs is they're wrapped in E30 sheet metal.
Yeah,
They're
I think
actually
it's-
okay cars, but like it's a travesty that they're wrapped in sheet metal that looks like an E30.
I think if
because
the
they do
sheet
not drive
if
like
that
E30s.
sheet metal looked like a Cressida or
an E36.
a Legend or an E36.
Oh
or-
yeah, it'd be a fabulous car.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
Great.
But yeah, no, it's just it has to
By the way,
contend with.
that engine has ARP 2000s and a good head gasket
Yeah, I
in your
know.
head. So if you want to throw a turbo on it, you totally can.
We totally can. Yeah, if my dad's about that.
That thing.
I just think
that
think
bottom
that's-
end has been through hell.
that the 325 iX is a good value for money car. I mean,
that one is.
Well, I mean, just like overall.
No, because most of them are like $6+ grand, and that's a
Oh,
terrible
because
deal.
it looks like an E30.
No, well, they kind of have E30 tax, but they're also really rare.
Really?
Yeah, manuals especially.
Oh, I guess the ones I have seen have been automatic.
Again, what I'm
but
selling you the car for is with the trans and transfer.
yes, that is a great deal. That's why my father's going for it.
Anyway, I want to talk about timing chains
Yes.
since we're talking about the G35. So I remember like 10 years ago, I was at First Gear Garage, that DIY place down in Eden Prairie that used to be here, where you could buy lift time.
Yeah, yeah.
It was super cool. I miss it. But anyway, we had an LS400 come in, and it had a popped timing belt, and the guy didn't know that. So the car ended up sitting outside for like 3 months. And I remember talking to the owner, Eric D., who's a good friend of mine, and we had a long discussion about why timing belts exist, because they were so much worse than timing chains. Like, why would you deliberately engineer a car to have this belt that's kind of not easy to get at,
Yeah.
that controls the life or death of the engine, and then have to replace it on those. It's a pretty long service interval, but let's say 60 to 100,000 miles.
Yeah. No,
Or at the time, pretty much everything made with a timing chain was lifetime. I mean, 400, 500, 600,000 miles on a chain was pretty reasonable.
No,
And
it's
I was in 100% agreement with him. I'm like, it's really dumb. The only argument I could come up with was, and it's not the case now, because we have like water pumps driven off of timing belts now, and back then we didn't.
yeah.
It was, well, you could change it at this interval and have complete peace of mind.
Yeah.
Not really have to worry about what's going on in there. Whereas with a chain, you really can't do that. You just have to trust it'll be okay. And it always was back in the day. But recently, with thinner oils, we got like 0W20, 0W16, 0W8 is now a thing.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And then you
And then you make thinner guides, thinner chains to try to keep the rotating mass
Poor-
down. You
poor
run them at
quality
hotter
plastics.
temperatures, poor quality plastics.
yeah.
And that's all bathed in this oil, just baking. So timing belts are still outboard of the engine, and they don't suffer from any of that shit. They
That's
don't
true.
care about thin oil. They don't care about heat. And, like, modern timing belts last 150,000 miles, like, pretty consistently on a lot of cars.
Yeah, no,
100,000
it's-
pretty easily.
Yeah.
I would say that the timing belts do care about radiant heat to an extent, just
But
because,
not
I
to
mean,
the same level.
No,
Right,
not
but
to the
yeah.
same level.
Modern
but the
belts
radiant,
are Kevlar reinforced now, so, I mean, the rubber content in a modern timing belt is, like, nothing.
yeah, I guess
That is very
I'm
true.
used to older,
Right.
equipment.
And belts,
no, I'm-
yeah, 30
like-
years ago, timing belts were like, yeah, you legit, like, change that at 30, 40,000 miles. 'Cause
Right.
it's
On a
belt.
944, yeah,
Oh, God,
you
yeah.
do the timing belt. Otherwise, you have a very expensive problem.
Yep.
Whereas
Whereas if you had a 924, it's non-interference and not a problem.
yeah, that's true. But
Sound-
I mean, like, but then at the same time, you also had like the Mercedes M117 V8s, where
Oh,
that timing chain
Brumsky.
will last basically forever, and people just change them for peace of mind.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could see that on the 116 because the early 380 116 was a single row chain.
Yeah, that's true. The single row chains. So yeah, 20R versus 22R for Toyotas.
Yep.
You know, the 20R had a dual chain. The 22R has a single, even though they're both great. But the thing is, like nowadays, would you rather have like a Honda Fit? I think if Honda Fit has a timing belt, or would you
Is
rather
that the
have
L15?
Yeah, L15? That's a chain actually. The L15A though.
I don't know. I think those are chain.
Here's a better example. Would you have the STI or a 2.0T?
Oh, STI.
Yeah, because the STI's got a belt, and that belt lasts about 100 to 120,000 miles on it.
Right. That's way
And
longer
that's-
than the engine will last, but
Yeah, but the belt life is about 120,000
yeah.
miles.
No, it is.
Whereas a 2.0T as a chain,
That
chain life also is about 120,000 miles.
I would say
but-
less.
Well, it is usually less. And if you do your timing chains at 10,000, or if you do your oil changes at 10,000 miles, like Volkswagen says you should,
Yeah.
it puts you at like 50,000 miles for a timing chain.
I think it would be a
but-
great experience if we could. I mean, this probably would never happen, but get a manufacturer, probably a German one, to basically loan you 2 vehicles for
Yeah.
a very long period of time, like say 60,000 miles.
Yeah.
You do one factory maintenance booklet, buy the book, and you do one how you maintained cars back in the day.
Yeah.
So you run like a thicker oil, a little bit thicker, because I mean modern engines they're designed to flow a certain amount of oil.
1030 or a 530.
Right, so if you have
as opposed
a
to
020
540. Yeah.
designed engine for a 15K interval, run a 030 in it and do 6,500 or 7K interval,
Yeah.
and like change driveline fluids, change brake fluid.
That'd be
change
actually
all-
really interesting.
I think it would be great. I mean, the hardest part of that, I think, honestly, would be finding two pretty consistent drivers that put a lot of miles on their car very evenly.
What you do?
What?
You find somebody that's not a car person. Like
Yeah, that's true.
somebody's mom
But I mean, you're gonna
or
have to
something.
find people that are putting roughly the same amount of mileage on
Yep.
a car.
Yeah, no, it's very true.
Because I mean, it
That's
doesn't
a good
matter what
point.
they're doing to the car. It's all about changing the fluids and stuff like this. But I seriously think that if you did old school maintenance to a modern car, it would last as long as an old car.
Yes.
It's probably a little early to say this, but I don't think, more the modern engines that are running like the 0W20, the 0W15, you're not going to see them with, 250,000 miles
No,
and still
definitely
ticking along happily like my truck is.
Well, at
I
least
would be
not with
shocked.
original driveline components.
No,
No.
because
They're going to have several engines in it.
as far as I'm aware, that is the original engine out of my truck. And I found the factory spec. It's actually on the underside of the hood.
Nice.
It calls for 10W30 down to negative 13 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's like an old Volkswagen or Subaru Boxer where 2050 was the minimum like acceptable summer oil. If you could find it, you're supposed to put 60 weight in it.
like
Well,
right,
those are air cooled, right?
Yeah, or Subaru was water cooled.
Oh, they still recommended the nice thick oil.
My
Right.
my GL10, if you want it to last a little bit longer, basically just put gear oil into the engine. It works fine.
I'm sure that's good for the performance it doesn't have.
like right now,
It's
I'm
noticeable.
running 10W40 high mileage conventional oil.
Sure.
And then I also buy a can of that the Restore, like restore your engine,
Yeah,
whatever.
The detergent stuff. Or
It's
whatever.
Yeah,
just a
it's-
detergent with a bunch of zinc in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got that, the high mileage oil, and then a can of that Restore running through a Wix filter, and it even cleared up my valve train knock. I mean, there's
Yeah,
the
it's probably
only,
varnishing something like that. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, because there is, even being single overhead cam, there are still hydraulic adjusters in the valve train.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually.
it
But
cle-
you've got
it
hydraulic
cleared up-
adjusters in that engine.
It cleared up my valve train knock. That it would, when I'd let it sit overnight when I was running 5W30 in it, I'd let it sit overnight, start it up, and there'd be a horrific knock.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just sold my Boxer this morning, and that thing cold start rattles like a motherfucker.
But
and,
You,
yeah.
but you rev it up to 2,500, 3,000.
Goes away.
It'd build oil pressure.
Yep.
That'd go away. Running that thick oil with that
Yeah.
engine restorer in it.
I think that's a sign that the engine needs a thicker oil. If you're getting consistent valve train noise when it's running, especially if it's hot,
Well,
like,
say-
that just means that the oil's draining down too quick.
Well, the dealers say, yeah, this is okay. It's like Volkswagen saying, yeah, the 10K oil change is okay. Yeah, you know why? Because they're guaranteeing the cars don't last for whatever the warranty is.
Period.
And once that warranty's up, it's no holds barred. And that's
Right.
how Volkswagens
And the
die.
thing is, the reason why this is now such a thing is because the oil change consumables
Yeah.
factor into the carbon credit for the car.
That is true. Yeah. That is very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you stretch a 10K oil to a 15K oil, your car can be less efficient elsewhere, or
So
it can
they-
be more efficient overall and get you more CO2.
to be able
credit.
to produce the car that has the better performing engine,
Yep.
they skimp out on oil changes because the car will last throughout the length of the warranty period.
And I mean,
I
modern
wouldn't
oil
even
is
say-
amazing, but it can't deal with that kind of abuse.
Well, it's like Mobile One. They said they've got 1,000,000-mile oil. It'll last 1,000,000 miles in the car. I have
or
zero
like
faith in that.
that 1 year oil change they
Yeah.
get out of them.
I don't.
Um,
I don't have any faith in that at all.
Yeah.
Atoll. You know
but-
what's really gonna suck? When the food comes up here, we can't eat it while we're podcasting.
Oh, I know,
Oh,
right? That's gonna be horrible.
Oh man.
But anyway, no. Back to the whole timing chain thing.
Digression,
So
yeah.
with a
I think it's
Volkswagen
an
versus a
interesting
Subaru,
topic. Yeah.
I mean that Subaru timing belt is gonna be maybe $1,000.
Yeah.
Like,
on,
yeah.
on a turbo car, maybe. 'cause there's a lot of
Maybe
stuff,
at
but
most. That's if you go to like a really
If you
expensive
go to
dollar
like
per hour
yeah,
shop.
Yeah.
Like,
if you, go to
if you have a
competent shade
specialist
tree
shop,
and you've
yeah.
got an NA car, it's probably $600.
Yeah. Whereas that Volkswagen timing chain, I will tell you right now, all day long, $2,400.
That is
the
more
water-
than the cars are worth.
Because usually you get plastic shavings from the broken timing chain components that have gotten into
Those high quality plastics.
Yep,
And all that heat.
They've gotten to the water pump jack shaft and all these other issues, and
Mm-hmm.
now you just basically have a $2,400 problem on your hands.
Yeah.
And then you have to do this again in another 120,000 miles.
Yep.
So that's just ridiculous. Whereas even say like a Mercedes M117, the timing chain goes out on that. Very easy to do. They have little ports for you to get at all of the timing chain guides,
Yep.
of which there are like 3 or 4 of them. There's not that many. And then when you put in the chain, they give you one long length of
A
chain.
master link.
You put the master link in.
You literally hook it on,
rotate
you
it
rotate
through,
the engine over, and
you
you're
pop
done.
it back in. You're done.
I will say the Porsche is like that. If you
Yeah,
buy a
that's
chain
nice.
for it, it's a master link chain. You can do it in the car with the valve covers off.
Yeah, and that's kind of the same thing with the old Mercedes V8s.
Yep.
And
I have a 117. It's fabulous. And
Yeah.
like, the chain in that thing is beefy.
yeah, it's a great chain.
It's a
Or,
big
here's another
boy.
example. Have you ever seen the chain go out on like a small block Chevy? I've never heard of that.
No.
Yeah.
I'd see. No, that's the thing. Is like my only real
I
timing.
have
Well,
What
I mean,
single
what-
row.
What did they
Not
do to
common.
it?
Lack of oil changes.
They just never changed the oil ever.
I don't really know, but yeah, I've seen one that failed. I'm like, I couldn't believe it when I heard that. I'm like, the timing chain failure in a small block. I'm like, no.
But that's just a perfect example, though. Like, as shocked as we are, that's just a perfect example of why timing chains used to be better. Now they're just
yeah.
not.
And see, my only real timing chain experience is with small block Chevy and small block Fords, where you just have that short little double roller chain, or the Ford modular motors, the 4.6, the 5.4.
Yeah.
The ones. Those ones, you get about 200,000 miles out of them, and then the cam phasers start to give you troubles. The tensioners start to wear out,
Yeah.
or the guides, start to wear out. But you can catch that noise ahead of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a little plastic in there, but it's just going into the oil. You're not dealing with the water pump or anything because that's all external.
Right.
So as long as you're running a good.
Oh God. Have you guys heard about the Ford 3.7, the V6?
No,
newer
has it been a problem?
Okay, so this has a timing chain, and it has a water pump that is driven by the timing chain behind all the timing components. And in order to get at it, it requires, I think, $3,500 worth of teardown to get to.
Oh my
And
God.
The best part is they don't fail, like the bearing, the gasket fails, so it starts seeping water into the engine oil, and you don't know what's happening until it dilutes the oil and cooks a bearing.
And now you have a major issue.
Right, so you like have to check the cleanliness of the oil on those all the time.
That is
Any
horrible.
sign of milkshake and you're done.
Yeah, that engine's worse than the 2.0T.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
and it's
no.
in a lot of cop cars.
The beautiful thing about like the 4.6 and the 5.4, even the 6.8, V10, those things, if you do have any sort of tensioner wear or guide wear,
Sorry if you're hearing our lunch. We were just delivered.
I was thinking
our
about like
lunch.
turning one of us down at a time so we could take bites of the food.
I'm just gonna eat like way over here.
but
We
no,
are all starving, by the way.
The beautiful thing about the old modular motors now, I can't speak for the Coyote because I don't have experience with that.
Coyote's great.
Even though it is a modular motor.
Is it?
It is. It is still technically part of the modular series.
I did
Same
not
with
know
the
that.
same with the 6.2 Boss they put in the
What about the
Raptor.
Voodoo? Is that different?
I think it's still a modular
What is the Voodoo?
architecture.
GT350.
Okay, thank
The
you.
5.2
That's a great
flat
name
plane.
for an engine.
Yeah,
Americans,
Great.
if Americans didn't do anything right, it's naming engines.
like the
The new Ford 5.8, motherfucker.
yeah,
well,
exactly.
like the Ford the 6.7 Power Stroke that they built in house after they told Navistar.
Scorpion?
Another
the
great
Scorpion.
name for an engine.
Yeah, after they told Navistar to shove it from the 6.4
Well,
and the
that was
6.0.
Ford's fault. They took an engine from Navistar that was reliable, and it made like 50% less horsepower and torque in the Navistar application, and then they put EGR and shit on it, and
Well,
a giant cooler, so they superheated it and put more boost into it and changed nothing else.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. They took a medium-duty engine, a light medium-duty engine, and put it into a light-duty application, so it had to meet, light-duty EPA regs. I am incredibly jealous of those French fries right now.
Well, when I'm talking, you can eat your French fries.
There we go. But no, that was the problem with they took a medium-duty engine, they put it in a light-duty application, had to meet light-duty EPA regs, and
They could have made it work. I mean, people have been able to make those emissions compliant and reliable.
See, I've never heard about them doing emissions compliant and reliable. I've just heard about reliable.
Well, I mean, it's better to take the DPF and EGR.
Yeah,
and all that
exactly.
off,
You
yeah.
rip all of that garbage off.
And head studs.
Yes, rip all that garbage off. Head
What
studs.
did the Navistar engine come in?
It was in like box trucks and shit.
Yeah, like the 4700. 26,000 pound gross weight. hydraulic brake, light flatbeds, light box trucks.
Like the rider
Like
rental
the
box truck.
Yeah.
E45 or E450s and F550s and stuff like that.
Well, technically, but those aren't international trucks. Those are
They
still
look
Ford
like
trucks.
we're talking about international.
Yeah,
then. Okay.
Navistar
I thought talking
Navistar's
about
yeah,
Ford.
Navistar is the
I'm
engine
not-
division of international.
American stuff. Post 1987.
Yeah, no,
It's not really my thing.
Navistar is the engine division of international.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they'd like the old '90s international trucks got like the T444, which was the 7.3.
Is that the same as the old school buses or no?
Yep.
Okay.
You could get a T444, 7.3 Navistar diesel in a school bus.
I remember seeing 3,800 badges on the side of international school bus engines. What does that mean?
It's the model
It's a
designation.
3800 Series V6.
It's the
At the time, I thought they might have been, and then I'm like, nah.
it's the model designation. So like now you get like the international Durastar 4300 or the 4400. It's an indication of the model and then the gross weight.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
The 4400 does not much like a modern like Ram 1500. It does not correlate to the gross weight at all.
Okay.
It's just a 4400 can carry more, haul more, tow more than a 4300. The 4400 might come with air brakes.
So what you're saying is the larger number is better.
basically, yes.
Okay, cool.
What you really want to get is a Workstar 7400.
Another great name.
What is that?
Basically, it's a dump truck chassis.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Tandem axle, air brakes. You can get it with like the 14.
But can I follow it at 20 feet or less?
Not recommended.
Damn it.
Not recommended.
I mean, I'm not saying you should.
Stay back 150 feet. Whatever, snowplow, you're doing 20. I'm passing your ass.
Oh, God.
I was just saying, that's a great name for an engine, and America's made great names for engines.
I think that should be a topic.
I think we should just do it now, because we're just kind of doing the American car episode.
Well, I mean, that's fine. We just haven't done any research on it, so we're probably missing some good ones.
I'm sure we are, but we can always come back to it.
There's like the Oldsmobile Rocket 350.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the Rocket 350,
Turbo jet.
the Fireball straight six.
Yep.
The Blue Flame.
The Blue Flame. That's what I was saying. The
Yep.
Blue Flame. Not the
Horrible
Fireball.
engine.
Terrible engine. It's a cool name.
Agreed.
And then there was now
The Super 8, the Buick Straight
Oh,
8.
that thing had such cool scripting on it.
if you go back to the 30s, there's the Chevy Thriftmaster.
Pre-war bell.
Yes, those are pre-war bell.
There's the Thriftmaster V6 or inline
I
6.
thought that was just a trim level of a vehicle.
Nope, it's the inline.
Oh, guys, I got to go back to the TV. There's a really great engine series. In fact, two of them with really great names for the W body.
Oh yes,
And that is the high value V6 and the high feature V6 line.
don't forget
You're
the
also-
Short Star.
You're also
Short Star's
forgetting
in here.
you're forgetting the Iron Duke and the Quad 4.
Yeah,
Ju-
Quad 4 is kind of a mediocre name. It's a great engine. And the Iron Duke's a great name and a terrible engine.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I think the more mediocre the name of General Motors engines, the better they are.
I feel like they don't really have names for their modern engines, though, do they? I'm sure they have code
Ecotech.
Well, the high feature.
Exactly.
The high feature is the 3.6 that they're putting in the current generation Impala,
Yep.
the Equinox. Well, actually, no, the Equinox doesn't get a V6 anymore.
No, not anymore. It's a 1.5T and a 2.0T.
Yeah, that's terrible because that's a lot of car for not a lot of engine.
That sounds like a really, really.
My aunt
Great
has
way
a
to blow out
1.5T,
your
and I'm like,
engine.
wow, there's a 3-cylinder in this crossover.
Is there 1.5 a 3-cylinder?
Yeah.
It's a massive 3-cylinder.
It is, yeah.
See, my mom has a
Sounds cool.
My mom has a 2014 Equinox, 3.6 all-wheel drive, LT with like leather interior and whatnot.
Yeah.
And as much as we hate on crossovers, as
It's a terrible car.
It
As
sucks.
something
By
to dr-
default, it sucks.
something to
No,
drive
not
around,
true.
I don't
Wrong.
mind it.
You're wrong.
No.
You're fired.
We've got
But you forget that I am
Nope,
Tucker
turn off this mic.
sized.
my work runner at the office is a 3-liter Terrain, and I grant the 3.6 is a much better engine than the 3.0, but it's a horrible vehicle. Good sound system, terrible vehicle. Yeah.
It's. I think what it is for me is that it's Tucker friendly.
Tucker, there's so many better cars. America is chock full of Tucker-friendly cars. Like, everything made in the Malays works perfectly for you. If you want something newer, the Panther chassis.
Oh, I got more engine names that are awesome.
Oh.
Merlin.
Oh, yeah.
Meteor.
Well, no, the Merlin was Rolls-Royce, though.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
were
they're
all
not
Rolls-
American, but I'm just saying like awesome engine names.
Yes, well, those are heavily influenced by America, and they're V16s.
Okay, well, fine,
and V12s.
but there were Pratt and Whitney made, I think, the Meteor as well in America.
Yeah,
and
they,
that was a version of Merlin, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, the
they
non-supercharged
licensed.
one.
Yeah, they licensed Rolls-Royce designs during the war.
Right.
So
Well, they needed more of them.
yeah, basically it's like, here's our design. It works great. Make this.
I forgot I was talking to, it might have been Jana last night, where we were talking about all the really cool pre-war brands that like were out there, all the hyper luxurious ones like Duesenberg and Auburn and Cord and
I picked a really good time to mute my microphone.
You did.
Because I don't want to talk about any
well,
of this.
so Rolls Royce is one of those, Hispania Sueza and stuff like that. And she's like, well, how did Rolls Royce weather all of that? And I'm like, well, they just made airplane engines. They were very good at making massive engines, and that's the same way for General Motors and Cadillac. Is the Cadillac
And
engine?
those things were sweet, man. They're all aluminum 4-valve twin cam. Like in
Yeah,
the
no, it's really
30s?
cool. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is like Cadillac. That's how they survived. They're the same thing. They put two of their V8s into Sherman tanks, and that's how they weathered the end of the recession and into World War II, and actually became profitable.
Yeah, and Ford, was handed the design for the GP, the Jeep,
Yeah, that's
by
true.
Willys, and was like, Willys made this great vehicle, but they can't make enough of them. Here, Ford, make this. GM, they're like, hey, we built this 2.5-ton 6-wheel drive cargo truck.
We can't make enough. Yeah.
Well, no, they made enough of them.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, the CKW, I believe was what it was called, was
Yeah.
GM made more than enough of those on their own.
Yeah. I
Those
think
are
that
so cheap, and I still kind of want one.
they're
for
still
no
in production.
reason.
That's the
Well,
thing.
see, no, the CKW isn't cheap anymore.
Was that the Deuce and a Half or no?
It was the precursor to the Deuce and a Half. It was still a 2.5-ton cargo truck, 6-wheel drive, but now the cheap ones, like what Nathan Mueller has, those are AM General. I mean, it's still technically a GM, but it's AM General or BMY. I forget the actual how that acronym
I was
breaks
going to
down.
say, what is BMY and how did they come to be?
They build strictly military vehicles. They built the 5-ton. They built, the 5-ton tractor, the wreckers, the everything.
Oh, okay.
And then
I think-
Oshkosh building the 8.8 or the 8x8.
Oh, it's from Wisconsin, weren't they?
I'm not sure.
I think they are.
I
There's a lot of like weird like brands for like large trucks that are actually made in like Wisconsin, Minnesota, like International Moline and stuff like that.
Yee.
Oh dear.
I think we should actually let's segue us into one of our other topics for today, which is actually cool American cars.
Yes.
Because we've been talking about a lot of really cool stuff.
More accurately, American cars that don't suck.
That is true.
Trucks also.
I'm just gonna cap the list with one of the best. And I may be in the minority here, but one of the best American cars. It had its moments. It had its generations where it lacked, but the Corvette.
Yeah, C4 Corvette that's probably the coolest car you can get for under $5,000.
Yeah. Or if you're willing to spend a little bit more, find the dual overhead cam ZR1.
I don't care that much.
Oh,
We were talking about that a few
We've-
episodes
we've been-
ago.
yeah.
I couldn't believe how cheap those were.
Yeah, no, Corvettes
They're
though.
like 20 grand.
My rule is I really want a Corvette, but I refuse to get any generation other than the C4. I refuse to spend a penny more than $4,000.
and it has to be cocaine white.
I don't care. I really don't care. As long as it's a Corvette, it's a V8. It does.
It's a
It
Doug
does.
Nash
it-
4+3.
I don't care. As long as it doesn't burn out and it costs me under $4,000, I'm happy. But no, actually, I was gonna say I'm gonna go
gonna
really
be a
weird.
$700
I'm gonna
Ford,
say a Hudson Commodore or a Hudson Hornet. Really, really cool. Straight six, I guess pocket valve. Really cool. But the thing is up until the small block Chevy came out, they dominated NASCAR and they beat all the Ford flathead V8s because they just had a shitload of torque.
But the Ford Flathead sounds so good.
Yeah, but so does the
nutty.
Hudson. The Hudson sounds amazing.
See, no, I love.
And they also had a really cool name for their engine, the Twin H Power.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna digress just a little bit because I love Eric's hatred of pre-war things, but yet
He loves
he
one of his
loves
favorite
the
engines.
Yeah, one of his favorite engines is pre-war, strictly pre-war.
Yeah, well, I mean, the flathead, in my defense, the one I want is like a 53 to 56.
See, I wasn't aware they were making the flathead that late.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the EAB, I think, started maybe in the late 40s, but it was definitely an early 50s thing.
You're talking about the Ford flathead, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm
They-
talking, like, the EAB is the last one, so it had, like, the better casting cylinder heads, and it was the highest displacement.
Yeah, and they did make those for a long time up until
yeah.
the Y block was. Actually, even when they were making the Y block, I think they were still making that.
There was an overlap, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it's like GM Performance. Like GM themselves are still casting small block, like the original small block Chevy,
Yeah.
just because it still works.
Really?
Yeah, I think it still ends up in some vans.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're talking like a Gen 3.
No,
No,
Gen 2.
we're talking the actual small
Gen
block
2,
Chevy.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
a
gonna say,
350.
Not an original Gen 1, though, because those have, like, no accessory drive holes at all.
Oh yeah, Gen 2, but I mean it's still technically a small block Chevy.
We're talking, like,
5 to
56 to 85.
well, I technically
That one, yes.
the small block was carried through to like 2000. The cross or 99 2000, the crossover on the Silverado where they went
Right,
from
but that was still a Vortec Gen 3. 86 and up was a
Gen
different
3
design.
was
I'm
the
talking
start of the
centerbolt
LS
valve
motor.
covers.
Well,
No, LS is Gen 4.
Well-
There's some debate because people don't acknowledge that there was a couple of years of a first gen small block in the 50s.
yeah, I don't know.
We need Trig for this one.
Yeah.
Trig will
Yeah,
know
I
the
guess
answer
they're
to
they're
this.
still casting center bolt valve cover 350s.
They're,
and
yeah, they definitely are.
So
That's 86.
That's what we're
plus.
trying to get
That's
at.
86
yeah.
to 02.
But I mean, it's still using 50s architecture.
It's still a really
forever.
old
Yeah.
ass engine.
Yep.
Yeah, at
a
the
lot
end
of
of
the
the day,
stuff does fit.
it's
Yeah.
really old.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could take those center bolt heads off and put, side bolt heads and
Yep.
go for some ungodly reason. And
Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
no, If
Well,
you-
if you're, yeah, I can't think of a reason either.
yeah.
Let me take this modern thing and put these really shitty
So,
50s heads on it.
What's an American car you really like other than the Corvette,
GMC Typhoon.
the Typhoon? All right,
Yeah.
yeah, because we were talking about how you really want one.
Yeah.
And
That's a
the Cy-
great
the
the
car.
Cy-
Boxster's gone. I could. Oh shit! Didn't I? I might
No,
have
you
said-
did. You did not say. You did not tell us that before. But the Boxer is gone. We'll talk about it next
But
episode.
No, we talked about it. But anyway, I think the last episode I talked about if it sold, I would consider buying a Typhoon.
Hey,
I
time
have
for a
too many
Typhoon.
cars. I have too many cars.
No, you don't. You only have a dozen. You don't even have a dozen anymore.
I have 11 now.
Yeah, not even a dozen. But
So poverty. But that's the standout. I mean, there's a lot of American cars I like. Like I like the SS 6B. That was a great car. I do like the Corvettes. I wouldn't own one.
The problem with the SS is it's not truly an American car.
it's Australian.
It's a Holden.
It's got a fucking bow tie on it. I'm gonna call it American.
It's all Holden underneath.
So
If we're
I
talking
guess,
about that, then all of the technology that goes into all of the American cars I like are not American.
okay. Well, I mean,
Cosworth Turbo Vega,
my rule of thumb.
German.
Well, I mean that's still Vega though. Or was that based off?
Still German as shit, dude. They were
That was
made
that
in
was
Germany.
that was an Opel, yeah. I guess really anything prior to like 1987 or so. That's kind of my cutoff for American cars.
You were talking about that earlier. Yeah.
Like it's not like a firm cutoff because they still made cool stuff after 87. But it's
Yeah.
like 87 is kind of the last year. It's the last year where you could get a G body still. You know, you could still get the box Chevys at that point. You could still get like the third gen Camaros. I know that the third gens and boxes they last a little bit longer, but kind of 87 was when they started like really actively killing off a lot of their cool stuff.
I hate the Gen 3 Corvette for the record.
And 87 and
Yeah,
a
me too.
87 and a half was actually when the square body Chevy trucks. That was the first year of the toilet bowl injected.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. See, so see,
And-
like 87's a good cutoff because you didn't have the garbage fuel injection.
Yeah, but before that, you had the Rochester Quadra Bogs and everything up top, and
No.
What a great name.
yeah, I mean, and now don't get me. Well, there probably aren't enough people who actually like it, know American cars that listen to this. But
Certainly not.
The Quadrajet can be made to be a good carburetor if you tune it properly.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a thermoquad.
Sounds like a lot of effort.
Not really. It's still cheaper than an Edelbrock or a Holly.
I would. I think they did make cool cars until 87. A lot of them were progressively being more not American that were cool at that point.
Yeah.
I would say probably. What do you think the coolest era for American cars was?
Oh man.
Oh God, that's hard to say.
Because I can tell you it's not right now.
No, it's
No,
not.
It's not.
All front wheel drive crossovers and mid-sized sedans.
Maybe like last year.
No,
would've
no,
been
no.
pretty
It's
good.
just front-wheel drive crossovers. They stopped making sedans. They were too tasteful.
Yeah.
Well, last year we had the SS. Last year we had all the RS and ST lines.
We
had a lot more
we
good
still had the
stuff last
Viper
year.
within the last year or two.
Yeah, I think that was.
Even though that
maybe
was
last year.
even though that was a Lamborghini massaged motor. And
Yeah, whatever. It's still a Viper.
It is. I mean, it's still designed by Chrysler. It's still gonna kill you.
So I guess you could also say is what is the best year? Because I mean, American cars like
It's gotta
they have
be
these
that.
things where they like they have like troughs and they have like ebbs
See,
and troughs.
Now it depends on your definition of good. You know, does it
right,
handle
so-
well? Does it just make
Well,
a lot
no,
of
I mean
power? Does
like
it...
you know, interesting. Like to me, about like 1932 was a really cool era for American cars. Also, or a good year. So was 1957, 1964, 1993. Those are all really
see,
good years.
I'd go.
Yeah, I mean, there was cool stuff in all those eras. There's cool stuff now.
I
But I
wanna-
mean, like,
wanna
what
go
was
like,
the best year?
I want to go
There-
like
you can't
69 or
pick that.
70.
Yeah.
Because like 69, you still have the iconic Dodge Charger. You know, the General Lee Dodge Charger.
And you have people just throwing more displacement and carburetors at these things to try to make them make more power.
Right. Yeah,
Which I think is
but 69
hilarious.
you had the
I need two 654 barrels, please.
and you know 69 you had the introduction of the Mustang Mach 1 and you know
And it's also 69. So, I mean, zing.
Also, I think, well, or I guess so. Like maybe era would be a better way to go
yeah,
with it, not just like year.
I will submit that the era that is the worst would be like 70 to 83.
The Malaise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody.
I'm gonna
agrees.
just say it right now. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Oh,
just because you fit in all the cars, Tucker, doesn't mean
Tucker,
it's the best era.
Yeah, it really was the worst era. They may have made cool stuff, but they're not good. Cool and good are not mutually
Correct.
Like, yeah, they're not correlated. in
Yeah, there's
any
no
way.
causation there.
But see, like through the 70s, you get stuff like the 74 Monaco. You know, the Bluesmobile.
Yeah.
You know, you,
Does it
not
have cop suspension,
not a
cop
great
brakes, cop
car
motor?
though.
No, it's a horrible vehicle.
Because that can't hold a candle to like an old Polara from the 60s.
That reminds me of the Mighty Car Mods episode, or that they did with Roadkill.
Oh,
where the
yes.
Roadkill guys just put the Crusher Camaro supercharged big block in this horrible car and did
even though it
nothing
made
else.
like 4 pounds of boost out of that blower.
Oh yeah, the
'cause
blower was
of the-
super hooped.
Yeah.
But it still was making like 650 horsepower, and it was
And-
in a bone stock 4-door Impala or something.
Yeah, with drum brakes all around.
And it had no alternator.
Yeah,
and
no-
no exhaust.
And they cut part of the frame rail out to try to fit the alternator, and then it just didn't.
So that's an American car in my mind.
Okay.
yeah,
That's American car.
Freiberger summed it up well, actually. Everybody thinks of American cars as overpowered, can't stop, can't handle, you know,
Why do
too
anything
much
else with it?
engine.
Right. And
It's-
if you embrace your shortcomings, then that's cool.
Yeah.
well,
that's
yeah,
true.
like
That's
build,
what the 70s was, I guess.
build something
but
that
with no power.
Well, that's the thing is they had no power, but they had all the torque.
I'm not saying that the cars weren't cool. Yeah.
You couldn't make at that point in time with the technology that they had and not willing to invest money to R&D. There was no other way to make any interesting thing with your car other than a
Did
shitload
they have
of torque.
Jegs catalogs?
Yes.
Then you could make power in the 70s.
Well, I mean, as a manufacturer.
yeah,
Yeah,
from the
as a
from the
manufacturer.
showroom floor.
Yeah, from the showroom floor, like you just couldn't.
Unless you count Don Yenko's showroom as.
But those were pre-emissions though. We're like
Oh,
right,
yeah,
74 up. Like the emissions is like what
Yeah.
made the Malaise as bad as it was. But
Yeah.
like if you get stuff, so I guess like a good example of things that could be like, how would I best word this? A good example of things that you would get in the Malaise that were cool would be cars that none of them are gonna be good.
No,
Like they're cool because they're like America's like, all right, we need to get down to our roots. What are our roots? Well, we got really straight long roads. We have a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit now, so it makes sense to just have a ton of torque and no horsepower.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
make this giant road pillow that can.
A giant road pillow.
Have you never heard?
It's a perfect name for that.
We build this. Yes.
No, never mind. I'm not saying
we
it.
build this giant road pillow that can haul 8 people comfortably within the doors,
And they're all
and
Tucker
still
sized.
and still pull a 7,000-pound Airstream and not care.
That is an American car. That's what an
Yes.
American car is.
And
Now, so the Malaise, I guess that's what you would say would be your favorite era.
my
then?
personal favorite, yes, because
Oh,
I
Tucker, you are damaged goods, buddy.
No, it's fine because mine are split because I don't have an era that I really love like a ton about American cars, but to me it's like pre-war, early 50s, and mid 1980s are my favorite eras of American cars.
it's been gone over before. Of course, I would put the 80s at the top of your list.
It's actually not because everything else in the world is better than them at that
you
point in
guys
time.
know what started a year after this 1987 cutoff? The GM10 platform, the W body.
Now that's what I think of when I think of a bad American car.
Yeah,
That's how we're
me
going to
too.
segue this.
Yes, I'm jerking us over into W body.
Oh boy. No, but see, now the first generation W body was interesting in the fact that look at the rear suspension.
It was pretty high tech in '88.
Yeah, it was independent rear suspension with that single transverse leaf spring like the Corvette still uses.
Yep.
I mean, the first generation W body, if you get one in good shape,
Which doesn't exist.
no, it doesn't. Unfortunately.
The only
if
thing
you-
that still works on those is the 3800 and the Trans.
The only cool W body was the ASC McLaren Grand Prix with a 3.1 turbo and 8,000 buttons on the dashboard.
Nah, man, they had a 3.4 4-cam manual, like Grand Prix or something too.
Pontiac got all the cool versions.
Yeah.
Of
Was
the
it the
W body.
Oldsmobile Achieva a W body?
I'm
no,
not
that was
sure.
smaller. That's based on like the Sunfire and stuff.
No, I think the Achieva falls in between because the Sunfire, Sunbird, Cavalier, that was the J body.
I'm pretty sure that's a J.
Is it
The-
a J body?
I think those are small. The
'Cause-
Achieva?
Yeah, the most hilarious story I've ever heard regarding a W body or I guess a J body potentially was when I was working at MAP. We had a set of GM Quad 4 H-beam rods that were returned, and it was more expensive for us to send it back to our supplier than it was to just leave it in stock.
Okay.
So it was in stock for like a decade.
According to Wikipedia, depending on how accurate
That's
we want,
accurate.
Yeah, it's accurate.
the Achieva was the N platform, the
Okay.
same as the Malibu, the Cutlass, Grand Am, Corsica, Beretta.
Interesting.
Okay.
Is that the precursor to the J?
No,
Must.
Or is it bigger?
the J body was the compact.
Okay.
Then you stepped up to
Not
like
quite. A slightly larger.
to the
than compact.
midsize, which was the N body. So you
Okay.
could,
And then you go to
going
W,
up.
then you go to H.
So the compact is like the kid size, and then like the Achieva or whatever that
Which
is
one
the
is
N
the
platform.
fun size candy bar?
What?
Which one is the fun size candy bar?
Oh, I guess that'd be the.
So-
I don't know.
J?
Probably something imported from Suzuki.
Okay.
So going up,
Just gotta power through.
the Buick didn't really get a J body variant.
Here, one second. I do want to finish the story. Anyway, so we had these H-beam rods in stock forever.
Okay.
Somebody finally bought them on clearance. We were convinced that it was fraud because nobody does that. And I'm like, to prove that it was a real person, I'm like, I need you to send me pictures of the vehicle this is going into. The dude had an Oldsmobile Achieva with a manual transmission in it,
Nice.
a massive turbocharger on a quad 4, and
Quad 4 is a good engine.
like tubbed out front end
Oh my
with a
God.
fiberglass one-piece front, and there was a built drag car to run like 8s. And
That's impressive, actually.
it's like
I will
insane.
I will
I'm like,
give
why
credit
did
for
you
that.
build it? Why did you build this? And they're like, well, Oldsmobile had that. I forgot the name of what it is, but Oldsmobile had their supercar that used the Quad 4 as
Yeah.
a proof of concept. And he goes, I always really wanted that, and I never could. This doesn't exist, so I built an Achieva with the same engine. I still love that engine. Anyway, carrying on.
I was
We're
gonna
done
say,
with that.
going back to the body, the hierarchy basically
Yeah.
of the like '90s GM platforms. Buick is the best example.
This
although
is everything I dislike. Is 90s dislike, Buick
I love the 90s.
GM
mid-size
front-wheel
sedans.
drive.
With a corporate V6 and an automatic transmission.
But what if that V6
fucking
is
kill
high
me
feature
now.
or high value?
I don't even care. I just want to be killed right now.
Oh, look at that W body.
That's actually pretty nice.
yeah.
I would own
That's
that.
the one that the ASC McLaren Formula One Turbo is based off.
Fun fact: those headlights, they are sealed beams.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they are.
The Sylvania Basics retail for $44 a piece at O'Reilly.
That's expensive.
Yeah, I have
Because
one in stock.
they fit those cars and they fit
Early
like fourth generation Camaros, and that's
yes.
Ugh.
But no, GM or Buick didn't really get a J body variant. So from there you go up to the N platform, which was the Skylark, the W body, which was the Regal and the Century, and then you go to the H body, which was like the Park Avenue, the LeSabre, the big, more than full size wow, I almost said BMW. Wow,
Dick.
I know, but like the best example would
What
be
are
like
you looking at?
My brain is melting out of my ear.
Oh, I thought Matt was making like faces or something back there.
The best actually example would be a 97 Park Avenue.
No, my
yeah.
grandma had one of those.
They're not good. None of them are good. They're horrible.
the-
They're
the
boring.
I must be thinking of the
It was
Regal.
what was the Chevy Celebrity based off of? What platform was that?
You know, I'm not sure.
That wasn't a W body, but that one I'm okay with.
Oh no, I typoed Regal really badly. Regal. Yep. Okay, it's the Regal.
Yeah, the Regal was the W body.
Dude, this thing, that car, is the most like doesn't care what you do to it maintenance wise and continues to run and drive vehicle.
See,
I've ever seen in my life.
I grew up with mediocre 90s GM front wheel drives. Like at one point in time, my family's driveway when I was like 7 had 3 Cavaliers in it.
Fucking kill me.
All 4-cylinder automatic
Oh
Cavaliers.
my god. This is horrible.
Is the Regal the one with the touchscreen CRT?
No, that's the Riata.
That is the Riata. That one was based off the W body, and that one's
That's a
actually
GM10,
almost
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I should say I don't like dislike the W body for no reason. I have owned one. I can say that I've given it a shot and disliked it. I owned an '89 LeSabre and I killed it in 3 days and took it off of many jumps.
The
Yeah, that's
W
true. And
the
speed
W
bumps.
platform was not a good car,
No,
but it was not a bad car.
It is the ultimate meh car.
it's a reliable vehicle.
It's like
that is literally
the-
all it has going. for it.
The W platform is like I need an automatic Camry, but my
But I
dad
only buy
don't-
domestic.
Yeah, my dad doesn't want me to own a foreign car.
Why does this music blog spot?
I think it must
blog?
be like an appreciation for the 2000 Buick Regal.
See,
Is
I
this a,
kind of like
car?
that front end. It's simple but handsome.
It's
That's not handsome.
That's like looking at fat man tits.
That's not handsome at all.
It's a terrible car.
If you want the closest thing to a handsome W body, look at the Oldsmobile Trofeo or the Buick Riata. Those are the closest
No.
thing that you're ever gonna get.
I think to put
Kinda
things
disagree.
I think to put things into perspective, at least for the listeners, they need to understand
They're already gone.
what I've come from.
They left and they're gone. They're not coming back.
Like my first car was a 93 Caprice.
That's
Yeah,
a
that sounds
great
like a
car.
personal problem.
That's also. While
a B body, it's
while
not a W.
While speaking about the best American cars, that one's up there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Especially if it's a Woody wagon.
I had one. It was a 92
Yeah,
Roadmaster.
that's a Tucker car. You should never have gotten rid of it.
yeah,
I
Tucker
shouldn't.
cars are for our listeners, all that are left. A Tucker car is a large American vehicle with a V8 that's rear-wheel drive.
I think the metric
That
is
can
you could
fit-
run over a parking lot curb at 30 and it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's super
and you
reliable,
don't feel it.
and it has ample space for multiple people over 400 pounds.
And on that, let's go to World Cup of Cars
Yes,
because
we're doing
we are
that.
getting
This
a little
is
short on time.
Awful.
And I know Ryan's life force is fading quickly.
Very quickly. So, World Cup's happening right now as we speak. I did kind of take this from Top Gear, this idea, but I wanted to kind of run with it.
Good artists create, but great artists steal. Just remember that.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, so with Top Gear, I'm sorry, I fat-fingered something on my computer, just ruined it.
You fap-fingered something?
Fat-fingered.
Oh, okay.
With the World Cup of Cars, Top Gear had this post, so it's just a clickbait thing where they said, here's the best car from every country in the World Cup. And what's interesting about that is not all the countries in the World Cup create cars. Like Senegal does not make a car.
No way.
Yeah.
I would have never thought.
However, we all know like Germany makes a car, and Italy and America do, but Italy and America aren't in it. So not everybody in the world is in the World Cup, which is actually really interesting because that leaves out a bunch of who the best people in the world would be. All the countries in the World Cup right now are Belgium, Germany, England, Spain, Poland, Iceland, Serbia, France, Portugal, Switzerland, Croatia.
That is a lot of
Sweden.
countries.
1 second.
Okay.
Denmark, Iran, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Egypt, Senegal, Tunisia, Morocco.
You already said Senegal.
No, I said Senegal earlier. Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama, Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, Colombia, and Peru. So most of those countries you cannot even think of a car from, so I've had to do some research to figure this out. Anyway,
God.
as the World Cup progresses, we're going to pit the best cars from each of those countries in a face-off to see what the best car in the world is.
And just going to be a debate amongst...
But amongst, me, Berger, and I, and whoever our guest is at that point in time.
I don't do sports, so you guys can both debate
Well,
this.
we're not debating sports, we're debating cars.
Yeah, but it's using a sports analogy, so I can't participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who makes a better car? Saudi Arabia, which they make a single SUV that is plug ugly, called a KSU Ghazal 1. Or
That's got
Russia.
so much gold leaf in it.
Yeah, Google
Russia.
it. Pop it up on the screen.
What is it called?
The KSU Ghazal, Gazal 1.
Well, Russia made Lada at one point, and
Yes,
Lada
they did.
Lada-
Oh,
They still
that
do
is
make it.
really ugly.
Yeah, put up on the
I'm
screen
working
for
on
our
it.
people to see it.
It's
This
pulling
is
up a lot of
based-
photos of burkas, too.
This
Oh,
is
dear.
this is the only car made in Saudi Arabia, and it is based off the G-Wagon.
Oh, God. Why?
Yeah, that is really ugly. It is
That
truly
is-
horrific looking.
Oh.
2010 plus.
Anyway, Russia, as we all know, make an abundance of fantastic cars.
I'm like,
What is the best car from Russia?
it's going to be some...
Lada.
some
A Lada,
jag-
do you agree? Or is it a Gaz Volga?
Lada Niva.
or
Lada
some-
Niva? I think it's a Lada Riva. Because Lada Riva is a non-interference engine. It's based off of very...
Dude, the timing components are never going to fail. It's Russian.
Yeah.
They're probably made out of, like, I don't know, rebel bones?
So the Lada Niva and you would say is better than the Lada Riva.
I would say so.
Or some gigantic military truck that I can't name.
Yeah, like the US.
The
or
gods.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised you didn't say Gaz Volga.
This is gonna shock you, but I don't actually know as much about Russian vehicles as
Yeah,
you do.
same.
Oh, a Gaz Volga is a full-size or a mid-sized Russian car used for the KGB that had basically a knockdown of a 4 to 5 liter V8.
You mean a 4.9?
Whatever the 302.
Yeah, 4.9.
Yeah, 4.9.
4.9.
It'd be it's a knockdown. It's a knockdown of a.
I want to make vinyls that fit over factory 5.0 badges that say
Say
4.9 and
4.9.
stick them on people's cars because it's not a 5 liter.
So, between the
49,
Saudi Arabian Ghazal KSU 1 and the Lada Niva, which one would you say is the best?
Not having known almost anything about your option, I'm going to go with the Lada Niva.
The KSU Ghazal 1, I mean, it's literally a
Anything
Mercedes
that's
G-Wagon.
not that.
I get the
It's
gist,
really ugly.
but
I don't care what it's based on.
Well, we
it's-
also had to bump this forward because we were trying to come up with a little bit of filler. Okay, so we don't have to continue this on.
that's fine.
We can stop. I just thought this would be an interesting way to talk about some really weird cars from around the world.
It probably is, but realistically, I didn't look at any of this beforehand either, so...
Okay, well,
I
we
would-
never research anything beforehand.
I would like to make a suggestion for like a heavy digression, but
What's a heavy digression?
you and I had actually talked about this off the podcast many days ago.
Remind me.
But just kind of bringing it back to me and pride and all this. Me being a transplant amongst like the car community.
Yeah.
How like growing up in rural Wisconsin,
Yeah,
granted-
what was that? Tell me about the culture change between growing up in rural Wisconsin and those car people versus what you find in an urban area.
like growing up, I was surrounded by like lifted GMT 400 mud trucks
gross.
that all sound like a giant bowl of turds rolling down the road. And
I know the
Stock
noise.
cam, stock diff, stock tranny,
but
cut off mufflers.
Yeah, cut off at the manifolds, trying to turn a set of 37s.
And they aren't.
Yeah, and
The 700 R4 not locking
either-
up because there's not enough wheel speed.
either that or boomers and like 57 Bel Airs and that. Your typical back to the 50s crowd
Yeah.
is what I grew up around.
Okay.
But now, among meeting more people, through the internet and whatnot, coming to the cities more, once I turned, 16, had my license, I was able to go do things.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to come explore, I was 17 when I first kind of put a toe into like the import community and whatnot. And at one point, I did same thing every kid does and thinks, the 240SX is the best thing on the planet and blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I bought
I had
E30s.
I had that period when I was 14 as well.
Yeah. I was a few years late on that, but, and going from owning like a 93 Caprice with a 700 R4
Gross.
and, bench seating
Not
for
gross.
bench.
700R is a terrible trans.
It is.
Yeah, but it's a cool car.
I've owned two. They're terrible.
It's a cool car.
We're talking
terrible
about the
training.
700R4,
Yeah.
not the Caprice B-body.
Right. And, coming from owning a Caprice with a 700 R4 and bench seating for 8 and now daily driving a Japanese mini truck.
Yep.
I mean, the culture shift has been wild. It's very radical. And
Which do you appreciate more? Because I've got like my mental picture of what like rural Yee truck bros are, and it's probably just like a dude that's like, oh, the best truck ever is a K1500. And it's
Except
like,
they never
why?
call it a
I've got no
K1500.
reason.
Except they never call it a K1500. It's always a Silverado, even if they don't have the Silverado trim package.
Yeah, see that I don't know. I just have my thing about that where I just assume what those people are like. I guess I can't say for
No,
sure.
you're fairly dead on.
I'm genuinely curious how we digress this far from World Cup of cars.
Yeah, because I do
Well-
I have one more match I want to do.
Oh, well,
Then
I
please do.
was
This
I was,
one actually, Burger, you
'Cause
should bring
we're
this
at
up.
an hour and 16 minutes. Just
Oh
for
my.
reference.
Bring
And I'm almost
it up
there.
on your screen real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about Morocco versus Iran.
Okay.
Oh,
If you
dear.
scroll down on the MotorCult podcast notes, you'll see a link to like Iran will have a link on it, and so will Morocco.
How far down is this?
This is under the with all the other future
Oh, okay.
topic suggestions.
So I want...
Iran and Morocco. So these are two countries that you cannot think of a car from.
no.
And speaking of mini trucks,
Oh no.
Iran, I guess I should say, makes the coolest mini truck currently in production.
Oh, it's struggling with Morocco.
Oh no.
And Morocco makes something you would never imagine from that country.
Oh, you just linked to the Wikipedia pages. I gotta pull
That's
these
fine.
things up.
That's
Hold on.
fine.
No, you're not gonna be able to see that on the TV.
You won't?
No.
We
Well,
can,
we will.
well,
Other
the
people
the Iran one is from
will. This one's
Jalopnik.
Morocco, I think.
Yes, that is it.
And then
That doesn't look like it belongs in
Iran.
Morocco.
Yeah, they're actually super cool.
is that mini truck,
Yes,
which has the Japanese sun behind it.
because it's actually a knockdown kit of a Mazda Porter or a Ford Courier that's still in production, as exactly as it was in 1976.
This means I can get a new frame for mine.
Boom.
Exactly.
You just have to go to Iran.
Yes, you do.
And I would be murdered the instant I stepped off the plane.
So the question
Nah,
is,
just install some freedom.
what is?
Operation Irani Freedom.
So the question is, what is cooler, that mini truck, which is dead reliable and super fucking awesome,
And still-
Or
look up the Laraki Epitome. It's on a different part of that page.
I'm
If you
thinking
scroll
that's going to
down.
go like full Zenvo and like
Yeah, the
light
red
on
one.
fire. And
isn't that Epitome?
That's Epitome.
Okay.
It is a C6 Corvette LSV8.
oh,
That's heavily turbocharged, runs on 91 octane, and makes 1,200 horsepower. If you put 110 octane into it, it makes 1,700 horsepower. It's made of carbon fiber and weighs 2,800 pounds.
oh God!
I still don't want it.
It's Corvette. Ah,
Which one is cooler?
The truck.
I vote Iran. The truck I think
The
is
truck's
cooler.
cooler.
The truck is cooler. Or
I
a
mean-
1,200 horsepower carbon fiber LS powered supercar.
I can get that without going to Morocco though. Like I could build that out of a C6 Corvette and not have to deal with like
Yeah, I think that,
Moroccan reliability. So
well, yeah, I mean,
I'm expecting the electronics to be like sub
Terrible.
Lucas quality.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well-
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Iran. I'm gonna
Yep.
have to
Mini
have
truck wins.
yeah, mini truck wins.
I'm gonna have to have the modern
To
version.
no one's surprise whatsoever, we picked the mini truck.
I feel like to a normal person, like if you pick some random guy
we
walking
don't know
down the
normal
street
people.
No, we don't.
and he said, "What's cooler, a Laraki Epitome or a, what's the name of the mini truck?
I don't know. I closed it.
Oh, or an Iran,
A Mazda 77 truck.
yeah, or a
Yeah.
current production. I think it's like I think it's actually made by like Kazal or something." But like you say, what's cooler, an old 70s mini truck or a supercar? Anyway, it's not a car person would say, oh, the supercar, duh. Anyway, it's a car person would say, oh, the mini truck, it's way more fun to drive.
It's also green, which is awesome.
yeah,
And
it's
it
they
looks
had,
like
really
it's from
cool.
the 60s.
They had like the tarp hooks
Oh,
on
yeah.
or along the bed rails.
It
and
is
If
called-
it had fender mirrors, it would be a no-brainer.
It
Yeah,
is called
absolutely.
the Zamyad Z24.
Ooh.
Yes.
And on that
If
note,
it does it have
Anyway.
a 2.4 liter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Burger.
I want to move over to interesting
Yeah,
engineering
we're gonna do
before
interesting.
we close this
Yeah,
out.
let's go ahead and close it out.
So for this week, I'm going to do something that's a little bit uncommon, but we've seen it implemented very similarly in a few vehicles along the last 50 years, and that is accessory drives for mid-engine vehicles that are actually driven forward of the engine power plant using a jackshaft, and then there's an independent belt drive with all of the accessories up front. So the two examples I've got are the Toyota Previa, which had the engine mounted on its side underneath the driver's seats, and it had a small drive shaft, which unfortunately the TV isn't going to pull this up very well. I'm sorry, guys, for the video podcast. But it had like a 3-foot drive shaft that went from the front of the crank through literally a bolt-on drive shaft and a guibo to the fan, the air conditioning compressor, the alternator, the power steering pump, and if you had the supercharged version, the supercharger as well.
Now, supercharger, everything, that's all right at the front of the car, correct? So like you open the
You open the hood, so it's all serviceable like a regular car.
oh, and wow,
And it's still a mid-engine. So
wow.
that was not originally thought up by Toyota. That was definitely the first implementation for Toyota and the first implementation and onlyest in a minivan. But Citroen was doing this back in the day with their SM, and then also Lancia did this on a few cars as well. But this is a photo of an SM under the hood, and you can see this little shaft back here. That goes to that little V6 engine. And up here, we've got the pump for the hydrogas suspension, the air conditioning compressor, the power steering pump, probably power
And
steering.
everything is still mounted backwards.
And yeah, all of that shit is it would counter rotate on these cars because all the accessories are facing backwards.
You know,
so you need special
leave
accessories.
it to Citroën to make something so simple in the hardest way possible.
Yep.
Like they, if they could have rotated everything, they could have used a standard air conditioning compressor,
Yes.
a standard alternator,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
and the belts would have been
I
serviceable.
think the alternator
Yes.
would probably work, but the air conditioning compressor definitely needs to be unique.
Yeah.
And the power steering pump or whatever, the oil pump for the
Yeah.
the fluid for the
That,
suspension.
that's kind of what we're getting at.
But-
is they did make that as difficult as possible.
I think these are really cool.
No, that is super cool. It's very interesting. I don't understand why you would ever do that.
I don't either.
Actually, I guess another one.
serviceability. It's gotta
Another
be.
one is Volkswagen 2OT. They have that stupid little jack shaft for the fucking
Well, if
water
we're talking
pump.
about that, I mean, this is specifically a mid-mounted engine with a forward accessory drive. But yeah, if we're talking weird shit, we'll talk about the R8 V10,
Yeah.
which has regular belt drive on the front.
Yeah.
One of the pulleys has two bearings, goes through an ear on the block, goes to a small toothed belt, and then that goes to a CV shaft to the back of the engine where the air conditioning compressor is, because that's the only place they could fit it.
That's so stupid.
The parasitic
built the-
loss for the air conditioning on that car must be horrendous.
They were
that's
trying
so
to
ridiculous.
shove 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound
Well,
sack.
no,
Correct.
the thing is, Audi designed this vehicle
Yeah.
and every component of it.
Yeah.
They didn't have somebody that could have just said, wait, why don't we just move this?
Because, keep in mind, this power plant was shared with the Gallardo.
I know that.
So they let some Italians work that part out.
And I mean, I guess
So
the chassis was originally designed for that V8, and then
Yeah, yep.
so
It was
more
a bit of
more
a shoehorn.
accurately, it'd be 10 pounds of shit in an 8-pound sack, and yes,
So that's probably.
I love making it
On
groan.
Tucker's great Not even a
Bombshell.
pun.
That pun. I think that's what we should end on.
Yeah.
Thank
our
you,
next
Tucker.
our next guest is in the house, so stay tuned for episode 26. But thanks
Yay.
again, Tucker, for coming on. It was great to have you.
Yeah. it's-
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening, everyone. I'm sorry
And now
for
I need to go
boring you.
bathe all of this American car talk off of my body.
Good. Let's do that. I'm done with American cars.
If you ever need to,
Thank
if,
God
if,
we got this episode done.
if you ever need a reason to cleanse your brain,
fun, Balto.
just just bring me back on, and
I'll just look at a 2000 Buick Regal.
that works too.
Anyway.
Exactly.
All right, take care, guys. Appreciate
Yep,
it.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye.